And let's show you our starting grid for this afternoon's event. On the front row, Peter Dempsey for the first time this year, and John Edwards right in the thick of the points chase.
And going to row 2, you've got Alex Ordoin and Joel Miller, who's been both of these guys very strong all season.
Next row back is row 3. That's where you find Ernesto Otero, who usually runs up in the front, and Chris Cumming also in his number 16.
And going back to row 4, you've got Tom Gladys and Chow Lara. Both guys have been strong, Gladys especially.
Natalia Kowalska is on the inside of row number 534, and Scott Redditch will round out the first 10 positions. Here's a look at the rest of the cars in the field today. Tire management should be a key to victory here today, as Jamie Howe explains.
Track and not really knowing what you're going to get tire-wise. A lot of times you heat cycle them, okay, and they will be better. So hopefully these guys will be better than having stickers on. But it's going to be interesting as the lights come up.
Here we go with a standing start from Trois-Rivieres.
Oh, it looked like Edwards got a pretty good jump there on the start. He moved first on that outside line. Don't know if he's going to make that stick.
No, it doesn't look like he got it done.
You know, and we're noticing a much cleaner start here, and that's really the result of a couple guys there brushing in the back. That's a result of the standing start. That's the first time we've used that here. Worked out pretty well.
That's one of the corners right there that Ardoin was talking about. That can be a tricky spot in the opening lap.
Very tough going down through that arch. It very much funnels into it, and it's very much a one-line area. Everyone looks like they got through cleanly, though.
Looks like Miller got through in the 20 car. Third of the chase to the points.
Just a really great street course here. I mean, it really flows well. The way the event is embraced by Trois-Rivieres, I mean, they really make a festival out of it. It's got a lot of history.
Charles Hall looks like he got away pretty cleanly, too, our points leader. He's inside the top 10, looks like about 8th position.
Yeah, you know, not what Charles needs. Charles is a very, very strong driver, but since his win at Watkins Glen, I think he's lost a little bit of pace, and he really needs to start stepping it up and getting aggressive with things again. You know, a lot of times, Rob, what guys get into is championship mode, just trying to collect points. And here in Star Mazda, you know, you've got to look at each race as a battle you need to win.
There's Lara going by. And we also see Tom Gladys back there in the 5. Oh, and one in the wall already. Rusty Mitchell in the Mitchell Motorsports entry out of Texas has cleaned off the left side of the car.
I don't know whether that's on the outside of turn 1. Well, that's into the hairpin.
It's not going to fit in there, is it?
You know, it's an interesting thing. You lock up those front brakes, your car's going straight no matter how much you turn the wheel. You know, he got off into the dirty stuff there, tried to turn the car, and it wasn't working for him. So, game over.
Well, the pace car is...
One of the only drivers who raced here last year. Wasn't a good race for him, though. He tried a dicey move, didn't finish the race after suspension failure. I spoke with him earlier. He said he was just going to drive a smart race today. He learned his lesson last year and needs the points this time around.
Well, that move was kind of a combination of both, Johnny. It was a bit aggressive, but it came at a pretty good time to make a pass like that. And here comes Hall trying to move up as we go back to Ardoin in the black car with the orange wings. Hounding our pole sitter. Well, I don't know how patient that was, but it's going to pay off, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Dempsey's going to fight this one for this next right-hand corner. Ardoin runs it in a little bit deep there. One of the things that's very challenging on street courses is the bumps. And you get these two leaders, you know, fighting like that. That gives Edwards the opportunity to sneak down the inside.
Just like that, and he does. Edwards in the white and red car. Johnny, we talked about tire management at the beginning of the show. Ardoin keeps locking those up. That's not very good on those Goodyears.
Well, you know, you never like that, because once you get a flat spot, the tire tends to continually find that flat spot and get bigger and bigger. And, you know, they come into the turn 5 area on down the back straightaway, and that's where we saw, you know, a lot of poking right here going in this area. One of your best overtaking maneuvers, and you see the guys moving their car to miss the bump there. But if you do have a flat spot, it's going to keep finding it lap after lap.
Our points leader, Hall, in the 77, you just saw him. He had drifted back to 8th. Now he's up to 6th. There he goes in the silver and black car. Teammates to our race leader, Dempsey.
You know, I really like seeing the aggressiveness of Ardoin. You know, he's trying to show his nose. He's being aggressive. You know, I always had the philosophy, if you're not going to win, be spectacular. Be the guy that, you know, shows out on TV, that guys talk about. Man, that guy was on fire. And right now, Alex Ardoin, he's definitely got his head down.
Laps go by quick here, don't they?
Oh, God, yeah. And it really is just such a neat racetrack. I mean, where they're going right now, underneath the arch.
Oh, Billy Goshen. Left side damage as well, just like Rusty Mitchell. Not sure if he did it the same way or even in the same area. Not wide enough the picture to tell just yet, but Goshen, looks like it's down near the front of the racetrack.
Yeah, hard to really say where that is. At the front, though, I mean, we obviously don't have full course cautions. I did see a glimpse of a yellow there, so they might be coming up on them. These guys at the front still battling really, really hard. Again, you know, these three right now have been our protagonists for the past couple of races, and there's a full course caution.
And here comes our pace car once again. The second caution, full course caution of the day.
Yeah, you know what? And with the concern about the tires, like Jamie mentioned, this does work in their favor. And the drivers are, you know, going to be getting this information, you know, on their radio, so they'll know that, okay, you can attack a lot harder now.
Well, nobody's going to need a little more help with their tires right now more than Alex Ardoin. And that's coming alongside Goshen, coming in the 16. This is the points leader in the expert class. Started in our top 5 rows today. A good start, but a bit of a bump here in the middle of his day.
He got Bulldog.
We'll be right back to Canada with Peter Dempsey leading here at Trois-Rivieres. Welcome back to Canada. Ralph Shaheen alongside Johnny O'Connell and Jamie Howe covering the action for us down on pit lane. Getting ready to go back to green after our second full course caution of the day. Dave Mundy out of Sugar Land, Texas, bringing up the back of the field and leading him to the green flag as he did from the pole to start. Peter Dempsey.
Yeah, he did a really nice job pulling the trigger there, spreading guys out, giving himself a little bit of cushion going to that green flag.
There you see the 18 of Ernesto Otero. And you know, Johnny, I've seen a lot of different and unique sponsors over the years, but Otero's got a new one for me, Brazilian green beef.
You know, that's got to be very popular in Japan. I raced at Suzuka years back, and I got deathly ill, and it had to be that Brazilian green beef. I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's lovely.
And Otero taking a look inside and tucks back in. 21 still out front. Ardoin had made a challenge, and there goes Hall. Teammates were race leader.
Yeah, you know, and what Hall's doing, he knows where the championships, you know, points are lying and all that kind of stuff. And so really what he's trying to pay attention to is what is Joel Miller doing, knowing that's the guy he's got to get in front of. You know, right now, Edwards, you know, we know he's fast. He can win races, same with Dempsey. But as far as being protagonists in the championship, you know, those two aren't quite in it yet. Although Dempsey, man, I'm digging it because he has been so fast and on fire since his win at Portland. You know, it's been really cool to watch him come to life here.
Well, Miller is in fourth in the blue and black number 20. There he goes. And there's Hall in the silver, black, and red 77.
And I promise you, each one of these guys is aware, you know, where their competitors are and what they need to do to get in front of them.
Now, Tom Gladys, who is second in the championship, kind of splitting up Hall and Miller, is back in about 7th position. And once Hall goes by, there's a gap and another pack behind him. There you see him at the top of the screen, and Gladys is in that group.
You know, Ralph, you hate to go Sigmund Freud and stuff, but, you know, we saw Gladys, and the Gladys is very fast, but not be so confident in the pre-race interviews.
Billy Goshen is done for the day. Jamie Howe has caught up with him in the pits.
Billy, out early with contact. You're really coming to terms with the car. You've proven that you can be fast in the practice sessions and qualifying. How disappointing is this today?
Oh, this is really disappointing, especially points-wise, because last weekend we had a bad finish too. So this will be a drop. This will be our drop. So we'll have 2 bad finishes, which isn't what we want. But it's pretty disappointing right now.
Tough break for Goshen, who was on the podium earlier this year. 3rd at Portland in the first race, and Hall has reeled in Otero. So now if he can get around Otero, he'll be right behind Joel Miller.
He needs to do that, but what he also needs to do is really get into the mirrors of Otero. You know, try to mess up his head, throw a few fakes, and continually throw a fake in the corner to get him to open up that line and make him, you know, worry about what's going on behind him. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm watching Otero, see him looking in his mirror, see if I'm controlling him.
Otero right there in the 18, and Hall in the black, silver, and red blimpy back number 77.
Both these guys doing a really nice job. I mean, I got to tell you, you know, racing on a street circuit, if you've got a great car, is one of the most pleasurable things in the world. You get so into, you know, the rhythm of it and hitting your marks. You have to be technically so good.
Is it more enjoyable as opposed to having a car set up good on a permanent circuit?
You know, for me, if I'm on a good street circuit and I've got a really well prepared, you know, car that's just got grip and is doing what I ask of it, yeah. I mean, just the, you know, you raise your level of precision to a whole new place, and it's just, you know, the necessity to be precise. Because if you make a mistake, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt the car. You know, that's kind of that's a cool pressure situation to be under.
Oh, the 24 of Jeffrey Kester out of Texas is around.
That just might have been one of those deals where you left your braking a little bit too late.
I think you're right. Let's look at the replay.
Well, this is coming down turn 5 area. You see him hit the bumps, lock up. Oh, man, and just keep them locked. Hulse did the right thing, just let him slide on by you, but you know what Kester needed to do there was get off the brakes, try to make a haul down the inside. Well done.
Yep, slides right past Otero, and now sets his sights on Joel Miller.
And this is when you on the radio, you want your crew chief saying, okay, good job, plenty of time, hit your marks, those guys will come back to you. Nice and smooth, and it's so funny, Ralph, because so many times you get in a street circuit and they can be cut and thrash and all that kind of stuff, but if you slow your movements down and you be really smooth, not get your car sideways, it's amazing how much faster you'll go.
Well, you can see how big the gap has grown already, and you can see how much Otero's moving around, and that's costing him all that time. These guys enjoying the day. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to Trois-Rivieres. Any given weekend, there are more Mazdas road raced than any other brand. These Mazdas all powered by the Renesas rotary engine, the same one you find in an RX-8 at your local Mazda dealer, sporting those Goodyear tires.
Dempsey is getting it done, breaking away, and in breaking away, not only is he, you know, emboldening himself to drive better and drive faster, but he's crushing Edwards behind him and Alex Ardoin. You don't know whether Ardoin might be faster. I mean, he's certainly able to stay right there with Edwards, but right now, you know, Peter Dempsey awfully strong.
Or could Ardoin maybe have used up the tires on that black 51? Because we saw him locking them up.
Yeah, locking them up and throwing it around some on those first couple of laps. So, yeah, I mean, that's a distinct possibility. You know, right there you see, you know, Joel Miller. Joel, you know, was awesome. He won Sebring, the opener, and he's been nice and consistent, but we need to see that guy win again. You know, Star Mazda, it's a launching pad for these guys in their careers, and, you know, championships are great, but I've seen more guys in this series, you know, those drivers that dominate at the end of a season generally go into the next season stronger than a guy that won early but didn't win at the end and might have won a championship. Winning races, you got to do it here in Star Mazda.
Well, what has really killed Miller right now is the fact that he was 16th at Portland in the first race there and 15th at Road America. 2 finishes outside the top 10. Everything else has been in the top 3. A 3rd in the second race at Portland, a 2nd at Watkins Glen, a 3rd at Miller at Salt Lake City, and the win in the pole at Sebring.
He's definitely been consistent. You know, you throw out those bad races, you know, everyone's going to have them. And I got to tell you, he still has the coolest pass of the year. That when he I think it was past Hall, you know, going up to turn 8 at Portland. That was definitely the coolest pass I've seen in a long time. But you got to win races.
Well, the big difference between him and Hall is the fact that Hall only has 1 race outside the top 15. Everything else has been the top 5. A lot more consistent.
Well, and you ask yourself, what are you trying to do? You know, you win the championship, that allows you to attract sponsors and attract teams. But if you're that guy on fire at the end of the season, you win the last 3, 4, and you do so in a dramatic, style, boy, that is equally as important and attractive to any team manager, whether it be in Mazda Atlantics or in sports cars, any arena. You want to see guys that are fast and they're able to win. As you look at John Edwards there with Ardoin right behind him. Edwards, of course, joined the series late, and his very first race he won in a dominant style. He's been at the front ever since, and that's a guy that I would have thought we'd have seen maybe nail another win by now, but it shows just how competitive this is.
Edwards, the first guy on the tour to get 2 wins this year, Salt Lake City, and then he got the second one there on that doubleheader weekend in Portland. We've got another doubleheader coming up a little later in the year too, Johnny, at the new racetrack in New Jersey, and that could be a real variable in this championship chase because nobody is going to have any experience on that circuit.
That is going to be very neat. I mean, I've seen nothing about the circuit. I'll never ever run there, so I'll get to learn the circuit myself, and that'll be cool. But it definitely puts all the teams on even footing.
Dempsey still hanging on. Dave Mundy is in the 52 now. He goes in between our first and second place cars.
Oh, look at that. And what he did there, he got completely out of the throttle not to mess up Joel Miller. That was very cool.
Ardoin really pushing hard on the backside of the 7 now, Edwards.
It's one of those deals where he's close enough to stay there, and you wonder whether or not, he might have a little bit better exits out of these corners and not have enough room to pull off the pass. And Edwards, we've not seen Edwards make mistakes. I mean, the guy's definitely strong, very consistent.
Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed. Pretty bumpy place here, and Dune Buggy might not be such a bad setup.
I got to tell you, over those bumps going into turn 5, it'd be nice to have. I'm watching Ardoin, and I think Ardoin is stronger on the brakes, but he's not able to do anything with it because you've got Edwards getting out of the corner so cleanly. And you know what? When you know you're, oh, there we go. Edwards getting a little bit loose now. Ardoin's got to see that and say to himself, all right, I'm getting to him. I got to keep the pressure on.
Is he getting to him, or are the tires going away? Because we heard tire management's going to be the deal today.
As the cars are going around, I'm watching the tires to see if any are blistering, and you can see as they go into corners the coloration of the tire changing a little bit across the tread. Nothing, though, that I would see that would concern me at this point yet, though.
Something to keep an eye on. You missed the beginning of the show. There was supposed to be another street race this season in Houston. That didn't happen. So Goodyear having to juggle their street tires, street circuit tires.
Both these guys, I tell you what, really providing a great race for us today. He's trying to learn the racecraft that's associated with doing it. Edwards, not making a mistake. He had that one little bobble going into the final hairpin. Other than that, he's hitting his points, and I'm sure his crew chief is telling him, he knows he's there. Hit your apexes, accelerate off. He's not going to be able to get by you.
If Joe Miller can stay where he is in 4th and keep Gladys and points leader Hall behind him, he'll definitely close that already tight gap between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the point standings.
No, for sure. And right now we see that Ardoin is falling back a little bit. So you don't know whether, he might have taken a shot at him going into that last corner that we missed. He got a little bit sideways. But you can see right now there's about a 1.5-second gap. It'll be interesting to see if he can make that up. Then we'll learn if he's got the faster car.
Well, the guy who's got the fastest car right now is without question the man on the 21, Peter Dempsey. He's been so strong, leading all the laps, starting from the pole. Jamie.
Peter Dempsey told me earlier in the weekend that even though in qualifying he broke the track record, he felt like he could have gone much quicker, but the local yellows really slowed him down. He said he only got about 3 good, clean laps in qualifying. So with the lead that he's pulled out now, looks like he might have been right.
Yeah, and that's scary for the rest of the competitors, too, because when you're that fast enough to get the pole already, and you had more in the tank, that's a strong combo. Yeah,
it certainly is, bodes well for his confidence. But then again, remember, Ardoin thought he would be able to get the pole because he had a fuel pressure issue in qualifying. So, you never know what your competitors are going to have for the race till you get out there. But, I just see right now, I see our Irishman Dempsey, you know, gaining confidence, getting stronger every single lap and saying, okay, this championship is going to be mine. It's got to be mine, because really he's one of these guys needs to do well in order to keep his program alive.
Here comes Edwards. Around the 52 of Dave Mundy.
Nice of Mundy to try to get out of that battle. Let these guys race.
Well, this is a type of place, too, where the corner workers really have to be on their game, too, because, as they've said, it's like racing in a tunnel. You need all the help visually you can possibly get to give yourself as much of an opportunity as you can to get out of the way.
Yeah.
J.W. Roberts, by the way, in the 65, getting lapped now.
And right now, it's a difficult thing. Oh, this will help.
That's Mundy in the 52.
You don't know whether that happened after he was pointing guys by and then, you know, got some pickup on his tires. Looks like it's no harm, no foul, but right there we saw Dempsey coming up on lap traffic, and that's always a dicey deal when you're the leader, because you have two guys in front of you racing. They might be seeing a blue flag and be totally unaware that you're coming up on them.
Oh, lots of smoke. Edwards and Ardoin.
Carried it in so deep. And Ardoin has pulled him back, and I don't know whether the traffic had a lot to do with it, but Ardoin, who was about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds back, is back up there now. Now we got to get Edwards a sponsor, because he had been getting a lot of airtime today.
Well, that's how you do it. You earn it.
He has been doing a nice job.
He has definitely been running strong here today. Just one race outside of the top 15, 19th in the first race of Portland. A 6th at Watkins Glen. And it did not start at Sebring. One of the things that's probably going to hurt him a little bit in the points this year. We'll be right back for more of the Star Mazda Championship, presented by Goodyear. Working our way towards the checkers here at round number 7 of the Star Mazda Championship, presented by Goodyear. Grand Prix of Trois-Rivieres, one of the long-standing stops on the tour. 2 visits north of the border this year. And next stop, next round, right here in Canada as well, over in Mosport, going west of here towards Toronto.
You know, and another great circuit. You know, it's always cool coming here to Three Rivers, the way the city embraces this event, and it is, you know, it is definitely a part of their history, and everyone does love coming here. And then Mosport, man, probably one of the better racetracks in North America as far as, you know, appreciating it as a driver. Just a beautiful circuit, so fast.
Certainly going to be a challenge, and no similarities at all between the two venues. Here's a move to the inside. That's Hall trying to get around some slower traffic. That's Roberts in the 65.
You know, as we get back to this, you know, what are these going through these young guys' heads, and where are they at mentally? Right now, Peter Dempsey is feeling great. You know, he's got his teammate, you know, Gladys. He's got his teammate Hall, both having the same stuff, and he's dominating them, and that's allowing him to gain more confidence. Conversely, Hall and Gladys seeing the, you know, this young, you know, Irish boy, you know, doing so well in the same equipment, that hurts their confidence. And so there's so many cool mind games that get played. You know, it's always good to have teammates if you're the teammate that's winning.
Ardoin in the 51, running along in 3rd. And if our leader Dempsey can hold on, there he is in the 21, and lead every lap here, he'll join Joel Miller, who did that at Sebring to win the first race of the year, and John Edwards, who did that at Salt Lake City in the second race of the year, as they led from the very beginning all the way through every lap in those victories.
Dempsey just looking so nice and smooth. You know, you see his hands working, but, you know, really the car never getting away from him. No big slides. Very nice, smooth style. John Edwards has the exact same style. You know, both of them very smooth with the controls. The car's not sliding around. Ardoin, you see a little bit more cut and slash, sliding the car a little bit more. Oh, you know, all effective.
Chuck Hulse is in that number 12 car out of Yorba Linda, California. He's leading the points in the Masters class. And he's caught right in the middle of the battle for the overall points lead, as well as the battle for the win here today.
Yeah, you saw him tighten up his exit there to allow traffic to get by. Edwards gets by. Ardoin, you know, I got to tell you, you know, with what was stated about the tires, you know, and worry about wear on them, you just don't know whether Ardoin used too much of his tires too early.
Well, we saw him a couple of those moments where he was really locking things up early on. The one finger meaning one lap to go.
Well, and you know what it is? You're at the start of the race. You want to get positions. You want to attack. But I've certainly done it. Where at the start of a race, I pushed too hard, overworked my rears, and it makes the rest of your race so much more difficult because you really can't get that balance back.
Well, he was one of the very few drivers who had any veteran experience at this circuit, and he also knew, Johnny, that track position is key to this place. If you get the pass done early, it's a lot easier to defend it than take it away.
Exactly, and you've seen Edwards use that strategy against him, you know, just not making any mistakes. Hasn't had to really use a defensive line, but, you know, Edwards, nobody really having the pace right now of Peter Dempsey.
Well, Portland was the problem for Dempsey this year, an 18th and a 19th in the doubleheader out there. If he could have erased that, it would have made a big difference in his season, because he's about to become the only driver in the year to get back-to-back victories. Here he comes. Checker flag falls for Peter Dempsey as he becomes the first driver to score back-to-back victories and just a tremendous amount of momentum in the second half of the season. And he joins John Edwards as the only two-time winner in the 2008 Star Mazda campaign. We'll be right back to talk to the winner. Off Priceline. Save up to half off on hotels only at Priceline. Here's our official results. Peter Dempsey gets the win. Edwards, Ardoin, Miller, and Hall rounding out the top five. Let's go right down to the victory circle area.